Good morning and welcome to Living Local 15. I'm your host, Jessica Williams. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It's time to grab a cup of joe and enjoy the show. We're kicking off the show with the Urban League of Fort Wayne. They have a fun gala called the Sneaker Ball happening on September 7th, so I'm getting all the details. Then Sylvan Learning Center is here to give us some great back-to-school tips for parents, how to prepare for homework and support your kids throughout the year. And later, it's Mental Health Matters, and I'm taking you inside of Viking Psychiatry to learn about their new machine and service they are offering. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
Urban League Fort Wayne empowers communities, changes lives, enables African Americans and other underserved urban residents to secure economic self-reliance, parity, power, and civil rights. And joining me today to share about their upcoming sneaker ball is their president and CEO, Aisha Arrington. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay. So first off, the Urban League has been doing really exciting things. Congratulations on hitting 2 years.
Yes. Thank
of being
you.
over this organization. Yes. So just start off by kind of giving us an overview of the Urban League, just in case someone has not heard about your organization.
Sure. Well, I should say that the Urban League has been here in Fort Wayne for 105 years.
Wow.
So that's a long time to be in a community. We're all about empowering our community members to live their best life. So Urban League is all about education and community development and economics, anything that lifts someone up into a better place.
Yeah, which is great. And so throughout the year, you all have different activities, events, and ways to really bring the members and communities together.
Oh,
so
sure.
Can you share what kind of takes place throughout the year?
Sure. Well, this summer we had our Ruby Bridges rock trail. We collected over 600 painted rocks from various youth groups in the city and laid that trail right down in Fort Wayne Urban League. So that was really exciting. We just kicked off our second banned book campaign, passed out 200 banned book titles at the Magnificent Fest at McMillan. We have our Meet the Candidates night coming up to help support voting. We're also partnering with Metro Human Relations and have an unwelcomed exhibit from the Indy office to just talk about disparities in housing and what we all can do to make sure that everyone is in a place where they can buy a home and create a home for themselves.
Yes, absolutely, because support for every community is so important. We all need representation.
Yes.
So that sounds great that you all are kicking those things off this year. And then you have this big sneaker ball.
Yes, I'm so excited. So yes, it's a way for us to bring the Urban League Gala back to the community, which we're known for, but in a new twist with a sneaker ball. So that's going to kick off September 7th at Parkview Mural. Tickets are on sale now, but you better get them because they're running out. We have VIP reception at 5:45, and then general admission tickets are starting at 6:30 p.m.
Okay, awesome. When I heard sneaker ball, I'm like, how exciting to not wear heels. And I'm thrilled to be emceeing this event. So you will see me there. And let's talk about what people can expect throughout the night.
Well,
lay it out for me.
First of all, it's going to be a show up and show out event. So you better come dressed, to slay with your sneakers on. We want it to be fun. We're so glad that we're partnering with DJ Crazy K is going to be our DJ. Philip Sanchez is setting up a 3D photo booth.
Wow.
I just heard from Jessica Henry Johnson that her husband, Nate Johnson, is donating a sneaker ice sculpture for the event. So there's going to be a lot of things going on. And then, of course, we've got our painted sneakers that are going to be on display, and our silent auction will open for them.
Right. So let's talk about this because this is all about supporting local artists.
Yes. Well, Carrington Thompson is the artist that painted these Air Force Ones, and I think he just did a beautiful job. But we worked with 4 local artists who each painted a pair of Air Force Ones. They've been on tour around the city. So they went to Sweetwater, they went to the Art Museum, now they're at the Impact Center. They're going to come back to Urban League before they head to Mural. But this was a really fun project.
That is really great. And how should people prepare, like, for the event when they come? I mean, we all have been to the park, you know, Miro Center,
yes.
but really just how can people best prepare to enjoy the night?
Well, you know what? If you don't know what to wear, there's Pinterest and there's, you know, Google. So make sure that you're confident with your look, because sneaker ball is a look that you're going for where you're just dressing up glamorous, but you've got your sneakers on. We do have a couple of Facebook reels out, one for the women and one for the men that just kind of gives you an example of what a sneaker ball outfit looks like. So you want your outfit together. Like us on Fort Wayne Urban League's Facebook page so you can see those reels to just give you some inspiration. And then while it's all about fun, it is a fundraiser for Fort Wayne Urban League. And so in order for us to execute our mission in the community, we need money. So it's going to be sharing our mission with those in the room and encouraging and inspiring all of us to give what we can to make sure that Urban League can stay in the community and have impact on the lives of all the people that we serve.
Yeah, that is great. And where can people go to get tickets?
Yeah, tickets are easy. They just go to www.fwul.org. As soon as you go to our website, you're going to see the sneaker ball right there, and just click and pay for your tickets, sign up, and we'll have you all registered. But like I said, tickets are going fast, so if you want to go, they need to get them now.
Okay.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Aisha.
Thank
it was
you.
a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you.
And if you would like to go to the sneaker ball, you have to follow the link below to get your tickets. This is an amazing opportunity to dress up glamorous, to wear sneakers, and support a good cause. As I said, I will be emceeing, so I will see you there and probably on the dance floor. And we'll be right back.
Follow us on social media at Living Local 15.
Sylvan Learning Center is a leading provider in providing education and learning skills to students K through 12. And they do this by inspiring them to learn and to live their best lives. And today joining me is their director, Jill Johnston. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. Okay, well, back to school is here.
It's already here. Yep.
Summer went by pretty quick.
It sure did.
And so I'm sure this is your busiest time as you are just trying to get students not only back into school and learning, but also providing your resources, because you actually add an extra level of education to their normal classes, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's hard to believe we're already a couple weeks in, and so homework is coming in. Obviously, one of the things that we can help with is homework support and making sure that student is staying on top of things. The biggest part is making sure those assignments are completed. So most students just need a way to kind of keep track of all of that.
Right. And in case someone has not heard of Sylvan Learning, you all are a supplemental education, right? So it's not in replacing a normal school day. You add extra learning. So kind of give us an overview of what the services are that you provide.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we can do, one of our programs is homework support, which means pretty much what it is, which is supporting them with the homework in their class. But that goes beyond just getting that work done. We want to make sure they're equipped with the right study tools and that they know how to study for tests. That's a big one. And then making sure that they're watching when their assignments are due and getting them turned in on a regular basis. If they're not understanding the concept that they're working on, that's when we can really reteach, slow the pace down, and make sure the student is understanding the foundations behind that.
Okay, yeah. And so how does it work exactly? So is it a student will go to normal school, right? If they're K through 12, they'll go throughout their school day. And then do they come after school to your center, or is it weekends? Is it at-home tutoring? How does it work?
Yeah, so it is, like you said, in addition to the school day. So our busiest times are after school. So we're open 3:30 to 8:30. And then we also have Saturday hours. We want to try to make it as convenient and flexible as possible, because we know a lot of students are involved in other activities as well.
Right, yeah, okay, that's great. And so as students are going back, I know parents are like, trying to just to balance it all and really make sure that their child is on top of their academics. And so you all provide that support. And so today you're going to share some tips on how parents can really just assess and really provide the best support for their children. Okay, so let's talk about, so we talked about homework and you all supporting that. And I know a big tip is to create a haven for homework. So what does that mean?
Absolutely. The big piece of that is making sure you have a space set aside at home where your child knows they're going to work on homework. Less distractions. Make sure it's comfortable. It might not be at the kitchen table. Maybe there's a lot going on there. Maybe there's a separate place, an office, or maybe it is the living room on the floor. Maybe your child works better there. Just figure out what that space is and make sure that you're keeping it clean and less cluttered and have all the supplies, pens, pencils, paper, ready to go.
Okay, awesome. And that is so true. I think that even applies to adults in a way of when you're working from home. Like I realized a long time ago that having a separate space for your office really makes a difference, because if I'm working in the bed, then I could be working all day long. But when I separate it and go to a physical space that's designated, then you kind of create, okay, I'm going to be working and then I'm going to release, right? Work and release. Okay, the next tip that you all have is establishing a routine.
Yes.
How do you do that?
Do we all need that?
Right.
Routine is very, very important. Not only for adults, but for kids as well. We need to make sure that we know what's coming. It's good to be prepared. So one of the ways that you can develop a routine at home is to come up with kind of like a checklist, basically, of this is the order of we're going to do things. When we get home, we do our homework, and then we have a snack, and then we do our chores. Now, it doesn't have to be in that order. You figure that out as a family, whatever works for you. But you may even at the beginning have to actually physically put that on a piece of paper on the fridge or a dry erase board. We like to utilize that. And it's very satisfying when you can start checking things off. But young children and older children all need that reminder, that visual reminder.
Yeah, that is true, because we can think that we have the list in our head, but then we get distracted, ADD, TV's on, just whatever, phone rings. And I was like, what was I trying to accomplish tonight? So checklist works for everyone. And then you speak about getting organized together and also being able to get packed in a smart way. So we're going to pack smart our bags and be organized. Let's talk about that.
Yes. Part of that is preparation, right? Mornings get crazy, very hectic. It's early. Nobody wants to be up. There's things everywhere. We've got lunches. We've got book bags. We've got shoes, all the things. It is really important to make sure everything has a space and that it's ready. So night before is going to be a big deal. Don't just run off to bed. Okay, it's time for bed. Make sure you take those few minutes and have everything where it needs to be. Pack the lunch the night before. It's in the fridge, ready to go. Water bottle already filled up in the fridge. Anything that goes to school in one designated space, right? I can easily grab it. Sticky notes are your friend. So if there's something important you need to remember to get or to do first thing in the morning, put that sticky note right on your book bag. You're not leaving without the book bag. So put it right there so it's ready to go. So that's part of getting ready the night before. And then on top of that, having a family calendar is going to be huge to keep track of everything that's going on throughout the week.
Right. Jill, you're speaking my language. Like, I feel like this is a dual conversation. You're like, do this for the kids. I'm like, do it for the adults.
Yes.
Because that is so true. I mean, I just think, I'm like, I have this little space on my kitchen counter before I leave, and I'm like, okay, I put everything there the night before, if it's whatever lipsticks or paper I need to, or earrings, just whatever I need to gather up and leave the next day. And I just put a sticky note on my door last night. So this is like great. I'm doing the right stuff.
You're doing it right. Good job.
Good. And then the final tip that you have is celebrating small wins. Now, I am a big fan of that. So talk to me about how that works.
Yes. So like I said, we're a couple weeks in. So if you came up with a routine and a plan and you had the calendar and you stuck to it, celebrate that. Go out for ice cream as a family and say, yes, we did it. Maybe it wasn't perfect, but we said we're going to stick to this routine, or we're going to stick to the things on the calendar, and we did it. But also give yourself grace. If you need to change your routine, there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you had this great idea and expectation in your head. Maybe it wasn't realistic. So pare it back down, keep it simple, and start again.
Yeah, I love that. Incentives work. We got to be working for something.
Yep, that's right. We all like a treat.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Jill, for coming in and sharing these really important tips now that school is back.
Thank you.
And if you would like more information about Sylvan Learning Center, we'll have their website listed below to check them out. And I'll see you after the break.
Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group.
This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry. Welcome to Mental Health Matters with Viking Psychiatry. I am here to learn all about their new machinery to help treat adolescents' depression. Let's go in. And joining me now is Sean Goddard, who is the owner of Viking Psychiatry. Hello, Sean.
Hello, good to see you again.
You as well. Okay, so a few weeks ago, we talked about adolescents' depression, and that was such a great topic. And I know now there are new developments that you're so excited to share. So what are those?
Absolutely. When it comes to adolescent treatment, like we talked about in that previous episode, it's largely been limited to a couple of medications, therapy, and regretfully, in the worst case situation, like hospitalization. And so it's been stressful for providers who are treating, the adolescent population to not have new tools and new benefits. And we're excited that the FDA cleared a machine, NeuroStar, which we have behind you here.
Yes.
You and I have talked about TMS before. We talked specifically about BrainsWay Deep TMS for the adult population, but the FDA a few months ago cleared this machine for treatment of adolescent population. Important to note that that's 15 through 21.
Okay, and we discussed before that people have to fail different or multiple medications in order to qualify, but this one's different. How is that?
Yeah, it actually gets me really excited, right? Because with adults, we have to fail 3, 4 medications, right, before insurances will even consider it. And the FDA and the insurance companies, from what we've seen so far, have been smart. This has been approved as a first-line adjunct treatment. And so what that means for our clients, for adolescents, is if they've tried one medication and it's not working, then they potentially can get TMS. Or even in the case, because there are people who just don't want to take medications, right? There's a potential to get approved as long as they're in a constructive and established therapy process, then they can get TMS for depression as well, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. And then let's talk about the insurance aspect, because that is what's on so many people's hearts. Can they afford it?
Yeah, absolutely. So anytime that the FDA approves something, it's great, right, that we get that approval, but it has to bleed through the system pretty much, right? And so insurance companies have to look at that approval, look at their existing policies, and tie that in. And it's exciting to note that so far 6 major insurances have adapted adolescent TMS into their policies. For example, one that just announced last week actually was Aetna, changed their national policy to include adolescent TMS in their coverage. If somebody has an insurance company that their current policy doesn't have the adolescent's approval in it, that's not to say that somebody can't get it. Typically what we'll do is we'll evaluate them, make sure they're appropriate for treatment, and we start the prior authorization process with their insurance company. And if they were to deny it because they say, well, it's not in our policy, then we typically will send over the FDA approval and information, and most often we can get coverage based off of that.
Okay, and so let's walk through the typical treatment plan. What does it look like to get this treatment?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things you invest when you do TMS is time, right? right? Because what we're doing is we're changing the neurons in the brain. We're strengthening them, right? We're doing physical therapy. And just like if you were to ever get injured and go to physical therapy, you don't just go one time, right? And the physical therapists work with you and go, okay, your muscles are good. You're back you're back operating correctly, right? It's typically a extended time period of treatment. And TMS is the same way. We're doing physical therapy for the brain. And so they commit to coming 5 days a week for 6 weeks, and that's just about a 30-minute appointment. Then we do 3 times in the 7th week, 2 times in the 8th, 1 time in the 9th. So it's kind of a taper. We do work with students as far as if they're back in school, adolescents, providing school notes and excuses, allowing clients, if need be, to miss school to get this life-saving treatment.
Wow. That's incredible. And so as parents are thinking about if this is the right choice for their child, as they are just trying to weigh out the options, what would be the #1 thing you would say to them?
Well, I think when it comes down to it, you have to look at your child is your child, right? And what's important to you and what's important to them, and making sure that they have all treatment options available, right? Because it's definitely, you know, one of the analogies I give, and I think maybe we've talked about it before, is when you start to get burned in the sun, right, and you feel that, that's when you go, oh, I need to put some sunblock on so I don't keep getting burnt, right? You don't wait until you're burnt and beet red and blistering before you put sunblock on. So this being approved as a first-line adjunct treatment, this is enabling us, hopefully, to put that sunblock on right away and prevent the worsening, right? And not only that, ultimately improvement in the way that their child is feeling. Okay, awesome. So if someone wants to learn more about this product or contact your office, how should they do so? Well, they can give us a call at the office, or the easiest thing, go on to vikingpsychiatry.com or vikingpsych.net to make it easy, and it has information about it, and it will lead them straight to us. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, John. Thank you. And if you would like more information about Viking Psychiatry, we'll have their website listed below, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And you don't want to miss tomorrow's episode. I am taking you inside of Pages Crossing, which is an activity theme park filled with fun games, from go-karts, putt-putt, a golf driving range, and I also try out baseball batting cage for the first time. And remember, you can always catch up on episodes and segments of Living Local 15 by going to WANE.com, downloading the WANE app, and also checking us out on YouTube. And I'll leave you with this: it's never too late to live your best life, so start living it today. And I look forward to seeing you here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.